5 girls met rich men for the first time, and instantly agreed to follow them to a small island. On the island all their food, clothes and housing were provided by the tycoons. They didn't bring any luggage, including makeup, perfume and clothes. Everything was arranged on the island. They even had people constantly pouring them drinks. And there were also some drugs. They accepted everything without the slightest hesitation, and even thought they were incredibly lucky. Even though the island cut the power every night and confiscated their phones, they didn't care at all. This is the 2025 latest horror film Rescue Blink Twice. The heroine Frida is a bar server. At a fundraising gala held by tech mogul Slater, she and her bestie Jess ditched their usual plain look and put on evening gowns, then snuck into the event. Because at last year's fundraising gala, Frida and Slater had met once. He once said he liked her nail art, so this year Frida wanted to try her luck, to see if she could win the CEO's favor again. Sure enough, this time Frida once again caught Slater's attention. Slater also fell for this special girl at first sight. After the banquet ended, he invited Frida to go with him to his private island. This made Frida overjoyed, and she boarded the flight to the island with her bestie. After arriving on the island, Frida was stunned by the paradise-like scenery, and thought this would be a magical dream trip. Little did she know a nightmare was waiting for her. The first thing after stepping onto the island, everyone was required to hand over their phones. Although reluctant, Frida and Jess still obeyed the rules of these rich men. Frida moved into the luxury suite arranged by Slater. After taking a comfy bath, she sprayed the perfume prepared in the room. At that moment a cleaning lady suddenly appeared behind her, and the moment she saw Frida she called her Red Little Bunny. But Frida was completely confused by that name. The lady also showed a strange expression. Frida and her bestie put on the clothes prepared in the room. Even though they felt the clothes were weird, they just thought it was the style of rich people. On the way they ran into the other 3 girls, all wearing the same white dress. Then they chatted and laughed as they headed to the pool party. Besides them, there was also a young guy who came here for the first time, and found everything new and exciting. There was also a girl named Annie, who caught Frida's attention. She had been on a wilderness survival show, and seemed to have impressive skills. Slater told Frida the island had a unique red flower, and the perfume in her room was made from this flower. And they also raised many chickens, had their own herb garden, and hired people to hunt pests all the time. The lady they saw earlier was killing venomous snakes. That night they changed into brand new gowns, and sat around a long table to have dinner. Because the island's generator was broken, they lit candles all over the hall. While eating, Frida accidentally got red wine on her dress, which made her extremely embarrassed. During a break the rich men began their usual ritual, and made everyone there take ecstasy. They drank and partied until late at night, but when Frida got back to her room, she was shocked to find the wine stain on her dress had disappeared. And just like that, day after day, sunshine during the day, wild partying at night. They spent their time on this paradise-like island, and Frida and Slater's relationship grew deeper. Slater still loved Frida's nail art as always. The next day, with Slater's introduction, Frida met the therapist Ricky, who showed up at the gala that night. Back then she jokingly told him that if she was in danger she would blink twice. That line made Ricky remember her. This time he came to the island to treat Slater. Because Slater had childhood trauma, Ricky became an essential figure in Slater's life. But before long, strange things kept happening on the island. Jess often lent out her lighter and kept losing it, and joked she should write her name on it. And Cody's treasured Japanese sword suddenly disappeared. That night while everyone was singing and dancing, Jess suddenly screamed and ran toward them, saying she was bitten by a poisonous snake. Since there was no doctor on the island, Slater simply rinsed her wound, and said the snake was venomous, but not deadly. After everyone left, Jess broke down and said she wanted to leave, and she had already felt something was wrong with the island. But Frida was very satisfied with everything here. She was no longer a lowly server, and could enjoy everything the rich enjoyed. She couldn't bear to leave. The next day Frida found a red gift bag on the road. In front of her was a uniquely shaped red cabin. She quietly entered. The cabin was filled with identical gift bags. Just as she was about to check what was inside, a sudden noise came from behind. She opened the door and saw the cleaning lady again. The lady enthusiastically handed her a bottle of green liquid. Thinking it was a new cocktail, she tasted it, and immediately bowed her head from the extreme burn, until the lady lifted the cloth in front of her. Frida then realized in horror she had drunk snake venom. She panicked and rushed out of the cabin. That night she threw up non-stop. The next day something strange happened again. Curly had graffiti drawn on his forehead. The blonde girl's bangs were mysteriously cut, and marks left. I was punched. Thinking they were just blacked out from partying. No one cared. Later the men went out fishing. The girls stayed to sunbathe. Then Frida suddenly realized Jess was gone, but what made her scalp tingle was that the other girls didn't even know who Jess was, as if that name had never existed. A sense of dread washed over her. Frida rushed to Jess's room, only to find it was a storage room. Devastated, Frida returned to her room, banging her head trying to wake herself up, and accidentally found Cody's missing Japanese sword. Right then Annie knocked on her door, and took out Jess's lighter with her name on it. That moment Frida realized she wasn't crazy. Jess had definitely been here. But why didn't the others remember her? Frida felt they must have forgotten something, plus the strange dirt under her nails, and the bruises on Annie's arm. They were convinced something was wrong, and only then did they realize. The 5 girls on the island didn't even know the men. They came here just because of a simple chat-up.
They're trying to control us. They're trying to make us look crazy.
But how did they do it? Frida suddenly remembered Slater once said, forgetting was a gift. They immediately went to the red cabin, and found the perfume bottles inside the gift bags. The problem had to be in the perfume. Their first reaction was to call the police, but after calming down Frida realized the police would never believe them, because they had no evidence, and they came to the island voluntarily. Then Frida remembered, only after she drank the snake venom did she stop forgetting Jess like the others. So she grabbed the bottle, and Annie drank it without hesitation. Then they pretended it was tequila, and tricked the other 2 girls into drinking it too. After that Frida went to Slater's room while the men were gone, looking for their phones, but the phones had no signal at all. Then Frida accidentally found a pile of photos, showing the men laughing while holding the gift bags. The next second Slater returned. Frida hid under the table. As her nose started bleeding, her memories slowly came back. She vaguely remembered the girls being trapped by the men, and their bodies being violated. And because Jess had been bitten by a snake, the perfume no longer worked on her, so she was killed. Frida immediately told Annie what she remembered, but they had no choice. They had to keep pretending and wait. During dinner, Frida saw the necklace swaying on Slater's neck, and those unbearable memories surged back.
She really won't remember any of this. The worse it is, the more they forget. All trauma gone.
At the same time, Annie, who couldn't hide her feelings, was quickly spotted by Slater. He tested her by asking about the survival show.
And I know that show is stupid and totally degrading, but I learned some really useful shit. And the truth is that you never know when you're gonna be stuck in the middle of nowhere in like a totally terrifying situation with no one to save you, no one to even hear you scream, and you need to fight for your fucking life.
The atmosphere became tense. To distract them, Frida started dancing. Annie joined in. The tense moments seemed to ease, and Frida and Annie looked for a chance to act. Meanwhile, the explosive girl finally remembered everything under the snake venom. She grabbed a knife and stabbed Curly over and over, and the blonde girl joined the revenge. At that moment Annie pulled out the weapon she had hidden, and stabbed through Cody's hand without mercy. Right then, a guard suddenly appeared and shot the blonde girl. Then he chased Frida madly. Just when he was about to kill her, Annie showed up in time to save her. Inside the villa, the confused Mark looked at the chaos, and naively thought everyone was just high. Meanwhile, Frida and Annie reunited, and to their shock, among the photos Frida found earlier, there was one of herself, meaning she had been here before, and this wasn't her first time as a victim. Frida was instantly furious, and decided she would never let those men go. So the 2 girls armed themselves, and marched straight to the villa. Frida pretended to seek help and knocked on the door, but Slater, who already knew everything, didn't fall for it, and told clueless Mark to open the door. The moment he opened it, Mark was shot in the head, and Slater knocked Frida's weapon away, and dragged her inside. As Frida tried to escape but tripped, she remembered everything from last year. Back then she wore red bunny nails, and was trapped on this island, trying desperately to flee, but was the sweetest prey on this lowly island. Slater sat before her like a victor, talking about what he did last year, and the apology he made after being exposed. But it was all just a performance.
I, Slater King, would like to formally apologize for my behavior. I've sought therapy, and I'm going to take a leave of absence from my company while I face these issues head on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because she remembers everything. She remembers every single thing. She's like, I'm sorry! 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 I'm sorry!
After saying sorry a dozen times, Slater finally stopped. Frida knew this deranged man didn't understand remorse. He only made everyone forget. He believed forgetting solved trauma, so he developed the forgetting perfume and lured countless young women to the island to satisfy his twisted desires. Then Annie fired a shot to draw Slater's attention, but she didn't get far before being caught. Frida had already broken free and stared in horror at the man before her.
You think I'm gonna kill you? You're like my best friend. What?
The next second he picked up the sword and walked to Annie. After taking a puff from his vape, he placed the blade on Annie's neck, but Slater didn't strike. Then he let go and said,
Holy shit, Vic. What the fuck happened to your face? No, what the fuck happened to Vic, what happened to Camilla? Oh my god.
Slater suddenly looked confused as if waking up, but was he faking or did he really remember? Then Frida spoke.
You're right. There is no forgiveness. Only forgetting.
She had already switched his vape and replaced the tobacco with snake venom, making Slater regain all his memories. Finally, Frida and Annie escaped the burning villa and took the unconscious Slater with them. After returning from the island, at a charity gala, the bewildered Slater met his therapist Ricky again, and the clueless Ricky still planned to keep controlling Slater.
How's your next week look?
We're in Beijing next week.
We're in Beijing next week.
Okay. Sorry, I don't think we've met.
Of course we have. I remember you. Higher Rich.
The next second, Ricky was taken away by the police, and Frida became Slater's wife and took over his tech company.
Eat your steak, honey.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Frida King.
And the film ends here.